Just before we start, I would like to say a few words about the ARPA Institute for those of you who don't know much about ARPA. We have a website, of course, the ARPA Institute, arpainstitute.org. You can view our activities in there. But we have been working in Armenia since 1992. And our main objective is to help Armenia advance in science, education, technology, healthcare, and many other areas. And we have experts from all fields, and our experts provide guidance, advice, and also get involved in projects. We have quite a few projects ongoing right now. The most recent one is the establishment of a clean room in the Alikhanyan National Lab. You may have heard of that. And actually, the first Armenian indigenous satellite is being worked on in the clean room right now. So that's something to be proud of. And the second project is we have a experimental project with the Alikhanyan National Lab, where they're studying a new approach for developing solar cells with silicon chips. But now this is a totally new approach, and the results so far indicate that the efficiency of these solar cells could be up to 50%. The most efficient regular cells have only 20% efficiency. So this is a huge advantage, which may make it compatible, or it may be as costly as the petroleum. So it will be in competition with petroleum, essentially. The second research, we have also a research program in the same area in the Yerevan State University, where 6 scientists are working on confined light, which is, again, both of these programs are being guided and directed by Professor Ara Apkaryan of UC Irvine. We also help Armenia, the Education, Science, and Culture and Sports minister in science fairs in Armenia. We have training programs for teachers to teach them how to organize science fairs and how to help students develop innovative thinking and critical thinking. And we, of course, also work with the institutes, both the Alikhanyan National Lab, where we have working relationships with a team who are working on a radio frequency photomultiplier tube, which is a new device that can increase the effectiveness of microscopes, according to the theory, up to 10 times. So that's another program we are helping. We work with the Molecular Biology Institute, with the Ashtarak Physical Research Institute, with the Chemical Physics Institute, and many others. And also we work, of course, with the universities, as I said, but also we have a new program now in the Polytechnic University, where we're establishing a center of excellence for circuit design. We will provide them with servers and computers, and also train teachers on a new software that the Cadence company is providing for free, and also have a specialized course or courses taught in the university, so that they learn how to design advanced circuits, and that will probably raise the interest of large companies, and they will be willing to come to Armenia and work in Armenia. So now we are delighted to have a team, an excellent team here, who are going to talk to us about the Sarkis Cabayan Small and Emerging Business Development Program, especially for women. And the panelists will be Elza Ginetsyan, Anahit Yeprikyan, Lusine Avagyan, and Nune Alaverdyan. The moderator will be Anoush Yedigaryan. So I would like to now introduce Anoush so she can direct the program. Anoush is the director of the Open Education Program at the American University of Armenia. She has worked with international organizations throughout Eurasia, the Middle East, and Africa, and with AED and Children of Armenia Fund, USAID, and Ms. Yedigaryan has taught at AUA and graduate courses at the Yerevan State University, and also conducted corporate training and professional development programs in various capacities. Anoush, the floor is yours. Anoush, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would, before we start I think I hope, very interesting conversation, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to ARPA Institute for featuring us today and for letting us have this platform to discuss the program of small and medium business development in rural parts of Armenia, but also to discuss business climate, business landscape in Armenia. We will be with the panelists today, who are participants of the mentioned program. We will be discussing the paths that they have gone through to come to where they are right now with their businesses, also with their needs to develop their knowledge and skills, and why they joined the program, what they're going to do next. So as I said, we will be talking a little bit about business climate and business climate and business development trends in outside of capital areas, in the rural parts of Armenia. And it's important that we will be discussing it from the perspective of business women, or I should say entrepreneurs, operating in rural parts of Armenia. And the entrepreneurs being women, and being young women trying to start business or trying to develop their business. And of course, as we speak about the interesting paths that they go through, we also come to speak a lot about their needs to develop their own skills, their needs to develop their knowledge. And with this said, of course, I'm sure everybody analyzes where they are, what they need to do. We, AUA, American University of Armenia, within the last year or so, we have been trying to understand how business climate works in the rural parts of Armenia. So we offer this program, and we also select participants who really need most to develop their skills. When we come to see many of the applicants that come to us, we understand that as they decide to start their business or as they decide to develop their business, they have one way of understanding what their needs are. And as they take the program, they understand that there probably are different things now that they need to take on for program. So this is what we're going to be discussing today. It's going to be about lifelong education. It's going to be about about rural part development and women being in the rural Armenia and starting or developing their businesses. Let me introduce our panelists. And I will be very brief in introducing them right now, because as they have very interesting stories about themselves, I will be letting them to elaborate more on what they're doing and where they're also working. Elza Ginetsyan, who is the co-founder of Zebra Driving School in Gyumri and in Cabayan. Anahit Yeprikyan, founder of Rhapsody Tea House in Vayots Dzor. Lusine Avagyan, co-founder of Create On Hospitality Academy in Gyumri. And Nune Alaverdyan, founder of Noreni, innovative clothes upcycling enterprise. All of these women are right now participants of the Sarkis Cabayan Small and Emerging Business Development Program that AUA is offering in the North Marzes of Armenia. And let me right now go into some of the discussion with them. I will ask them to introduce themselves. And after we go around the introduction, I will then take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the program itself. And then we'll go into the discussion of their development of their businesses. Elza, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, please?
Thank you, dear Anoush. Hi, everyone. I'm Elza Ginetsyan. I'm from Gyumri. Initially rooted in finance, but my path to business development started in 2017. Now I'm co-founder of Zebra Driving School, which is based in Gyumri in Shirak region and in Cabayan in Syunik region. I'm happy to be here among everyone today. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Anahit. You're muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Anoush. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. As you see, I even forgot to unmute myself. So I'm from Yerevan, but I have lived the bigger part of my life in Yerevan, but I left the city to live in different Marzes of Armenia 6 years ago. And now I have moved to Vayots Dzor, and I think I'll be here for a while to see the tea house prosper and to do whatever I can do for the community here.
Okay. Lusine?
Hello, one more time. So happy to be here, and we are very delighted to be here, and thank you for the invitation and also the opportunity that is provided. As Anoush mentioned, my name is Lusine. I'm the co-founder of the Create On Hospitality Academy, and we are proudly to say that me and my partner are the ones who created the official hospitality academy for our cultural capital of Armenia, for Gyumri. And we really know that Gyumri being the cultural capital and engaging more touristic flows right now. So we really need to have very professional hospitals, professional local guides, and we are dealing to this, and we created the academy definitely.
Great, thank you. And Nune, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm very glad to be here and have the chance to share my story with you. So I'm Nune from Lori region, town Spita, and I'm the founder of the brand Noreni, which is about upcycling clothes and getting new clothes from already existing textile. So we buy clothes from shops which are not sold and give them second life. And I will be very happy to share my story later. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm going to be, now I'm going to try to share my screen if I can, so I can put up the, let's see if, let me know, please, if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Visible.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about this program, and then we'll go on the discussion. So we're going to be talking about Sarkis Cabayan Small and Emerging Business Development Program in Armenian provinces with scholarships for women. This is the program. Oops. Okay. This program is about giving business education to business owners and decision makers in their early stages of developing their businesses. It's important for us that we have participants who have started their businesses and who also have vision to develop the business. At the same time, it's okay if they're in the very initial stages, or they're also somewhat advanced stages. People are different. They come with different background education. They have also different experience when they come into the program. It's okay for us to get them on board. It's important that they all have vision to develop their businesses. That's what we're looking for. The program offers scholarship for women coming from rural parts. And so we get them on board to take on from the very beginning stages of the program until they complete the full program. Program consists of three main components. The program itself, let me tell you about the business, the core program of business. This is what the program is. The business program that has been developed by AUA College of Business and Economics offers a 2-semester program that takes basically from the business idea, formulating the business idea, taking on to marketing, to finance management, business communication, sustainable entrepreneurship topics. It's a comprehensive program for someone, as I said, in the early stages of business, starting the business, to take it to better understand where the solid business is to go. The program is offered in English. With English education, the English comprehension that the participant have to have, we don't actually require that participants be fully proficient when they apply to the program. However, upon selection of the participants, we offer them English component of the program. So we take them from wherever they are, we test their knowledge, and then from wherever they are, we take them up to the level of levels, what we call level 6, which is basically the advanced level of knowledge. And we take them up to that level so that from there on, they can take the business program. When they start their program in business, they also go through coaching component. There is the coaching component that is added on, whereas the business people and experts from different fields that are matching to be matched with the participant business sectors and fields, the coaches will come on board and work with the participants to mentor them and coach them so that their business is taken into development stage. The reach out of the program is, as I said, this is for rural parts of Armenia. This is outside of Yerevan. And basically we offer the program through AUA open education venues, the infrastructure. We have 7 outside of Yerevan. We have 7 regional locations, and that's the venue base that we take the program through. However, and you see on the screen, you see the locations right now. However, it's not only bound to be in this particular city where the program is offered. We do offer it to around the city areas as well. Whereas the areas around Gyumri that would be reachable to come to Gyumri, or Vayots Dzor, Yedigaryan, Goris, Cabayan, Stepanaker, that's a very special right now topic of discussion. So yeah, this is a reach out for the moment. There are several other locations where we do not have at this point centers. However, we are also thinking of connecting them to the closest area so that we can have more comprehensive reach out throughout Armenia. I think I'm going to stop sharing right now on this. I would like to, with this small introduction of the program, I would like to take a minute also to thank Cabayan, Dr. Cabayan, who is also, I know he's here as well. I would like to take a special thank you to him for funding this program and taking and giving such importance to this particular area of development and being so so passionate about helping women in rural parts of Armenia to start their businesses. I would like now to go into the discussion right now, and when I was preparing for this meeting, I was going around the panelists' businesses and meeting them in their business location and talking to them as a businesswoman, but also as a person, to better understand what they're thinking, how they came to the idea of starting their business. What were the challenges they had? What they have challenges as of right now, and what their vision is for future. It's fascinating stories. Let me start with Elza. Elza, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to idea of starting your business? And it's very important now here. I hope you also mention this when you speak. It's you started your business as a co-founder, so that's a very interesting and a very interesting experience that not many people have, especially in the region, starting it with a partner. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that too.
Thank you for the question. The idea of creating a thriving school rose from demand. While there were other organizations providing similar services, we often failed to fully understand the customer preferences. Instead, we offered what we deemed ideal. So this underscores the importance of getting to know your customers as a business founder, entrepreneur, and this process is ongoing. So you every time need to get to know your customer and to know each other. The other question about the starting business with friends, I will say that it's unique dynamic. When you have an idea and it takes root within you, it begins to take shape, and you need to discuss with someone to hear some opinions and so on. And I think that friends is good choice, because, for example, if you talk with your mom, she will basically say that this is brilliant idea and you need to make it in real life. But sometimes you also need to talk with other people, like-minded partners, let's call them that who share your interest is essential. And I would like to say that don't shy from having business partners. Just be prepared to make some certain discussions and be prepared that not all your proposals will be accepted. But be ready to collaborate and find the best solution for your business, for your venture.
Okay, all right. Let's go into Nune's business idea. Well, I mean, you have a unique business idea. And how did you come to that business idea? And you can also talk a little bit about some of the stereotypes, Nune, that we were discussing earlier on. What are the, maybe some of the challenges that when creating, and now also while operating and running the business, that you come across, how you overcome?
Thank you for the question. So, as I have already mentioned, I represent Noreni, which is connected with upcycling clothes. and the business idea is directly connected with my own experience. Because from early ages, I used to do different changes with the clothes that I had, and later I got new and interesting goods, which helped me to save money and at the same time have new clothes. So later I wanted to bring this idea into life and make it a kind of business. At the same time, being very concerned with environmental issues, I started studying also this field, this area, and I came to the conclusion that fashion is the second polluter. So it was my surprise to understand this fact, because after oil production, actually fashion is the second polluter and it brings a lot of damages. So I wanted to contribute to the development of sustainability and sustainable fashion in Armenia. So in 2021, I founded Nune. Of course, this is very new and very unusual business idea, especially in a very small town, in a very small region. There are a lot of difficulties, but at the same time, a lot of chances to develop this idea. Connected with the stereotypes, of course, the biggest problem can be connected with being a young girl in a business area, because mostly we are used to see men, especially in regions, especially in the town where I work. It's a problem because people usually don't take you seriously when it comes to create some networking, to increase sales, and it can be hard. At the same time, there is some kind of pressure from the family, and it is also connected with the place you live, because there is some kind of created culture in every town and in every area you live. So in this case, the problem can be connected with the family, because specifically they want to see their daughters in a married position with less responsibilities and in kind of safe position. But whenever you go to business, which is, in my opinion, really difficult field, because you take a lot of responsibilities, so it's a problem. And all the time there is some kind of pressure from the family, as well as personally from my family. And it creates some kind of fear that maybe you can fail, maybe you needed to choose some kind of safer area and go and to have your, I don't know, some kind of safe work every day with fixed salary. But these issues also give me big motivation to go further, not to stop, and actually show by my own example that it's possible. If, like, although you don't have a lot of support financially, or I don't know, any kind of support, but if you really like that idea, it is really close to your heart, it's possible. It's possible to develop and show with your own example that you can create something bigger than expected.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think this much for now.
Okay, Lusine, if you would also tell us a little bit about the idea, how your business idea was developed, and also tell us a little bit about the stereotypes that you come across, both in business, but also in personal life too.
Yeah, sure. Actually, the question, it's really very entertaining for me, because I would like to share also with the audience some personal stories that I have faced with. So before, just to make a concrete vision, before creating the Create on Hospitality Academy, I was engaging mostly in the sector, and I was a local guide in Gyumri and in Shirak region, and I'm hosting lots of guests. And after all the tours, I can remember my father and mother's faces when I'm returning home, and they say, okay, come on, you are so tired. Maybe it's not the job that you should be engaged in. It's not the right stuff for you. And imagine that in Gyumri, being a very traditional cultural capital, we are facing the situation that the profession of local guide is not associated with women. So it's mostly associated with boys, and it doesn't mean that during all this way you are earning money. And step by step, I start to create some space. And also I understand that the problem and the stereotypes is connected with the fact that, especially for the first time, my family don't know what I'm doing. And even if they don't have that kind of information, and even they could not guess from where this passion and love towards the city is coming from. And one very beautiful day, I decided also to take my parents and some members of my family to the certain tour that I'm doing. And it was a very lucky part because it was the regional tour, not the city tour. And they were so amazed. And my father quotes a very nice thing in Armenian. I would like to share it with you in Armenian, hope it will be understandable. So it's a "Shat lav գործ ես անում." So he mentioned that you are doing a very great job. And from that day, I understand that all the stereotypes and everything that is created around, I don't know, this profession, it's going divided into the small pieces and vanished, because when people understand what kind of value with you and also are you passing to the people, it's going to create for change, of course. And during all this part, when I was engaging as the tour guide, especially in the hospitality sphere, we can face lots of, let's say, small problems or just the obstacles, because they are something that we can overcome. And with my partner, we decided to create a space, especially for youth empowerment and also for developing the hospitality sector in Gyumri, because especially during the last years, we noticed that increasement of touristic flows, and as we have the international guests, we have inner tourists, so we are responsible, each of us responsible to give them great service, to provide them competent and very nice local guides, and especially in the hotels, in the hostesses, in the waiters frame. So we should face the professionality, and we always keep in mind as the people start to make the regards towards your city, and they respect you, your region, your city, and they choose yourself. So professional. And from that day, we decided to create the space. The path was not very easy because all the people during the community, they say, you know, so like maybe you cannot overcome these obstacles because it's too hard. It's something, a very new thing. It's very new concept. So, but believe, and we succeeded. We just 1 year old this month, and it's really very pleasant moment for us that we have many students. So we provide trainings for HoReCa sector, for hotel restaurant management. So we provide trainings for local guides. Also, we added the social media marketing part. And then just this semester, we added also the HR courses, which is very prominent profession during the last years in Armenia. And we mostly create a corner for everyone.
Congratulations on the first year anniversary.
Thank you.
And as we were discussing this, I was thinking, you mentioned that, Nune mentioned that. When we talk about some of the stereotypes, of course, some of the challenges or some of the pressure that we feel also from people around us and some of the partners, some of the family members. I know remember we talked about the motivation. We need sometimes motivation from people around us, but instead of being motivated by them, we feel the pressure from them coming from them. So there is this strength that we need to have within such strong really belief in the business that we want to do. So we overcome this and then go forward. As we speak about this, there are also one of the challenges for the businesses, for the small businesses in regions, are also the local infrastructure, the local conditions, but there are also some advantages, I know. I mean, there are advantages and disadvantages of running businesses in rural parts. Let us talk a little bit about that. Nune, let's start with you. What advantages and what disadvantages do you find in running your business?
Thank you. So I totally agree that there are some pros and cons in business management in small regions. And about opportunities, about chances and advantages, I would like to say that in small regions, in small towns, there is less competition. And so the chance of being popular, well-known, fast is very big. So if you are dedicated to your idea and you do a big job, you will be well-known quite faster. At the same time, so we have less expenses in regions because, for example, different services are cheaper than in the capital. But as I've mentioned, at the same time, we have some problems, some difficulties and obstacles connected with cultural, and people very often are not open for new ideas. That is, people are mostly conservative. They like what they have, and bringing some changes can be a little bit difficult. At the same time, there can be some problem connected with getting necessary materials while working. And if you need some materials, I don't know, some goods for your work, you need to travel to another city in order to get them. We can have some difficulties in participation of various events as we are far from the capital city. But I think it's really interesting, and from my own example, I can say that it's really interesting and motivational to be in a small town, and because you know every aspect, every field, you can. It's easier to know people better, and you have very big chance to develop your idea. At the same time, provide some kind of chance for local people to change also their mindset. By your own example, show that changes are possible and they are necessary. Otherwise, still we will have the same attitude towards different things, but we should change because time is changing very fast and we all need to adapt to that.
Yep. Thank you.
That's
Anahit, what are some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages of running your business in Vayots Dzor? And I mean, I want to jump ahead and say, especially a business like a tea house that has very specifics with it, but I'm sure you're going to talk about that.
To begin with, why I opened just exactly a tea house, because Anoush, as you said, it's really hard, and I expected that it would be really hard to have a tea house in a place where people are not much into the culture of tea, and there are not really many tea lovers here. In 2018, I saw a tea house in Bratislava. I thought that someday in Armenia, I will have a tea house like this, because I really believe that in Armenia, we need a place like this, an authentic place where people can gather, where people can come and share their dreams, share their ideas, maybe a platform for artistic souls. And the tea house made a combination of this, and going into advantages and disadvantages of having a place like this in Vayots Dzor, I would definitely start with the disadvantage. As you said, Anoush, people don't know much about the tea culture, and another disadvantage being getting supplies, because you can't find really many sorts of tea in Armenia, and especially in Vayots Dzor, there are no tea shops. But these are just two really small parts being disadvantages, and all the rest I'm gonna tell are advantages. Because when I started, when I was preparing to open the tea house, which took like 9 months, everybody was saying, why Vayots Dzor, it's a dying city, like nobody will come there. But I believe that in such place, and I believed in it, and then it turned out to be true that in places like Vayots Dzor, where everybody thinks that nothing will work, there are more opportunities than in places like Yerevan, because in Vayots Dzor, people really seek places where they can just fall into another reality, and the tea house came to be like that. So it's an advantage that giving a platform for people, a space for a comfy place for people where they can gather and do whatever they like. I guess that's it. So it's a really big advantage. So it will eat up all the disadvantages. You're muted, Anoush.
It's fascinating knowing your story, and your story being, you coming from outside of Vayots Dzor and starting your business in Vayots Dzor, but also your background being in a different field, also, completely like totally new to the idea of a tea house, but then also a business, running business itself. It's fascinating. We'll come back quickly after we talk a little more about the advantages and disadvantages. We'll come back to the conversation about the importance of education, business education, and knowing some of what is needed to run the business. And we'll talk more about that as well, especially in your business. Elza, your business, again, I mean, driving school, wow. We talked about stereotypes, we talked about the business being unique. Is there a lot of competition? I don't know much about that. And also, if yes or no, is that advantage, disadvantage? What are some of the other pros and cons of running your business?
Thank you for the question. So Armenia is indeed a unique country with some distinctive stereotypes, which are particular, I think, to this region. And one of the stereotypes revolved around women and their abilities to thrive. And society has only recently started to accept the idea that women can thrive. And there are women who have taken the bold step and opened the driving school. This was the underlined stereotypes connected with my business. But I fully enjoyed that process to develop, to change the culture, to show people that this is also normal. So not only men can drive, not only we can set up business and to work, but also women. Advantages and disadvantages in our Mars regions is very different. But I think that we need to look from the other angle of this question. So how to make disadvantages to advantages in our businesses. So this is the biggest step which we are going to take. Opportunities, I think that are very different in different Marzes, but we all are from the same economy, and we need to think about it, and we need to think about how to develop it. I think that Armenia presents excellent investment environment, and opportunities as well, and it's not only about tax benefits. It's also about how we need very qualified individuals to set the business, and also that opportunities are abundant in the regions. We need the demand of high quality products and services are very high. But in this case also, I think that government needs to support, and that support can be in various forms, such as providing financial investments, infrastructures developed to access to the education, and also trainings and in different ways. So in this case, we must think that we are not alone, just as a business founders. We also need to feel that support from the government to start a business in the regions and make our disadvantages, turn our disadvantages to advantages.
Wow, I love the way you approach it. Thank you for that. Lusine, advantages and disadvantages in your area. This is Gyumri. We talked about Gyumri being conservative, but also the business that you so passionately talked about a little while ago.
Yeah, I would like to go back to Eliza's quotes and mentioning, because also it's really very important when you start to understand. Of course, there are in all businesses, there are problems, there are obstacles, there are disadvantages, but here is the thing that how you can transfer them to the advantages and change them, change the community, change the approach. Connected with the advantages, proudly we can say that in Gyumri, again, more initiative. It's really very important one. Because new companies are market, and also number of the competitors are increasing, which is really an advantage. You should not be the one just in the community, the leader, and that's all. And also it's really very important for us because people start to become more international, and also they are searching some international experiences, international funds, collaborators, and also they are willing to learn to have some international experiences. That it's really very interesting one. Just like localizing to our business, some disadvantages can be the lack of infrastructure that we get, and also the approach, because we are based on non-formal methodology, and we have very many students that they have certain connections with the formal education and the institutes and universities, and we start to get them the idea that we are not the one who is going to lead, because they are the universities, they are the institutes, all these diploma and certain things. But if you would like to be more professional in your profession, or I don't know, more trained or your profession, just trainings, short time trainings, I mean, they will be a great opportunity. Really, we are change creators. We take this mission for us and for the community, and maybe somehow it will, I don't know, seems like it's quite hard to change the stereotypes and also to change the community. We briefly believe that we can succeed, of course.
Sure. Yes, sure. Connecting advantage, some of the advantages and disadvantages with knowledge, with what you know, what you need to know, what you possess as skills, and what you need to develop. And this is really talking about you as, on your example, I would like to spread the conversation and sort of elaborate it to talk about, in general, what do you think, what kind of education, or what is it that young women, as they start businesses in the regions, what do they need to learn? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit about on what you have learned. I'm sure when you were starting business, you were thinking you lack one type of skill or knowledge, and then as you go through the operation itself, you see it differently. You see differently the needs for education. You also see differently now as you've gone through the first semester. In fact, congratulations on completing the first semester of the program. For the audience, I want to say today was the last day of our first semester of the program. So as you've gone through that, what is it that you value that you probably took from the program? What is it that you think you will be looking for more information, more practicing skills, and so forth? So let's talk a little bit about education, business education. Elza?
Thank you. I will underline numbers, and it's not just about my profession. I'm accountant finance background I have, but I always said that numbers are the most important key indicators of the business, but not just look on numbers and to say it's good or bad. we should analyze. And I think that's the most important thing to set up the business, to start and to lead the business, is to understand your numbers, to look them and to talk with your numbers and to analyze every time. Is it good or bad? How to improve it? How to make it better? And during the first semester, we have a little part of numbers, and I think that we are going to deep down during the second semester. And it's not just about me, and I will say that for all ladies, this part is the most important part, because it's not about just having profit. It's about how to develop, how to understand that situation. Not just looking on them, but also looking on your numbers, and your numbers will start to talk with you. And I always said that little quote, and I would like to say it today as well, that marketing serves as the heart of the business, but finance function as the brain of the business. So when your brain stops to work, let's say, everything will stop at the moment. And if we start to work once again, then all the system or all the organism will start to work. That's why I would like to say that analysis and the numbers for me is in the highest point.
Okay, wow. All right, well, thank you. Nune.
Thank
We're
you.
talking about education. Mhm.
Yes, here I would like to underline that when I started the business, it was mostly about being devoted to the idea and trying to develop the idea. But whenever you start a business and you are very far from this field, so all the time you face a lot of obstacles and challenges. So I personally, I'm very far from business, and my background is linguistics. So whenever I started the business, I had a very big need to get necessary knowledge and skills in order to be able to manage it in a right way. That's why I took part in different trainings and educational programs. And it's also, whenever I saw this program, it was my high motivation. I had very big motivation to be in this program also. And I'm very thankful for giving the chance, because still I have the problem to be better at marketing, to be able to create bigger networking and increase the sales. And all the time, whenever I meet young women, like girls or women like me, and I see that the mistakes that I had, so all the time I give them advice to all the time take time and have time for getting necessary knowledge, because it's really very important. You can do the same thing several times, but in a wrong way, because you don't know how to do it right, and you will not have a result. All the time you don't understand why I get the result I want, because you do it in a wrong way. But after understanding how to do it correctly, you get the result very fast. That's why it's very important, and it's really important for me. I'm very devoted to this idea of developing, getting necessary knowledge and skills. Yeah, and then maybe even now I understand that it's really important to have some years, even when you have a good idea, business idea, to have some years, get necessary knowledge, good education, and then run the business. Because whenever you are already in the process, it's really hard. There are a lot of difficulties. And personally, I could develop my business idea and promote sales with the help of the trainings and educational programs that I had. And I also want to thank AUA Open Education for giving the chance, because I got to know a lot of new things, which kind of opened my eyes. And after this, I have already some planned activities, how I will use all these materials and good knowledge in my business.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for that interesting overview. Anahit, I know when you were telling me about how you started the tea house, you were even the one painting the walls. I mean, you went through the whole spectrum of different things doing. What did you know? What did you not know? What do you need still to learn? What have you learned already?
All right, so I learned everything about construction. So if you need anything, you can turn to me. There are the stereotypes in Armenia that girls don't use the electric drill. They don't paint the walls. They don't dust the tables, the chairs. But I did everything by myself, like renovating the chairs, tables, painting the walls, painting the paintings to hang on the walls. Doing the shelves. I did everything by myself, and I just enjoyed the process. And at that moment, when I was doing everything, I was so excited and motivated that I didn't even notice how the time ran. So I started the business. I paid for the rent for like 9 months, and having started the business yet. And at that point, I realized that, okay, it's cool to learn everything on the go, but it's also important to have some knowledge which can help you plan better. For example, if I thought about it earlier, maybe I wouldn't rent the place in the first place, and I would do everything that I wanted with table chairs, with the napkin holders and everything, the little things, and then start something else. So whenever I think about learning something, maybe I will need to learn, for example, managing my time better, and then do something. But in the end, what I can advise is not having regrets for whatever was started, because in any case, we can learn on the go and make everything work better on the go. And I wanted to mention that in the program, we learn many things about business management, financial management, and now branding. And we also learn from other people. For example, I listened to the girls to their wonderful stories, and I learned something from them. Even from day-to-day communication, we just give each other ideas. I grasp some ideas from them. I don't know how about them, but I really take something from them, and I hope I share something with them. So the knowledge we get is not just something written on the courses and said by the lecturers, but also this peer-to-peer learning, business-to-business learning.
I think that's wonderful what you say. I mean, there is the systemized knowledge that you get through the program, but there's also the peer learning but also network creation that you have with the peer students in the class, and hopefully also with graduating the course, and then next cohort coming in, there will be the alumni the whole network that connecting with one another. I even know, this is for the audience, a small information, I even know that among the 21 students of this particular group, we already had 2 different businesses come together to form partnership. And this is only throughout 1 semester of program together. I think this is just amazing how it turns to be into an advantage. Lusine, in terms of what you needed, I know that when you were also speaking about the academy and how passionate you were to start it at that point of time, what did you need in terms of knowledge, and where are you now? What is next?
It's really very interesting deja vu right now because I am also remembering the day that we have started and the day where we are now in. I think the first thing when we start to initiate the academy, it was just the initiative. It was not the business. We don't know some kind of details connected with the finances, connected with the sales, connected with the market. And I think the best thing that could happen with us, just with the theme of the academy, is participation to the project, and thanks to the scholarship and thanks to AUA Open Education, because it's really a nice journey that we are passing with our instructors and also with future mentors and with you, of course, because as the girls also mentioning, we're exchanging this. So it's one of the most effective things, how you can grow your business. And the subjects that are included in the project, it's also really very essential. And passing, for example, at first introduction to business, you are looking through it and say, okay, maybe you will change the approach. Okay, maybe you will do this, you will do that. And it's really very challenging, of course, because me, myself, being the guide, being very far from the finances, from the businesses, we just understand that it's our initiative, it's our passion to do the academy. But later on, we understand that if you would like to be, I don't know, share your experience in different regions of Armenia, and if we have the idea to grow up, so we should do the business, we should do business, we should have the business literacy, and we will succeed, of course, in that way.
Sure. I am sure. I know I'm looking at at time, and I know that it will take. We can talk for long, and there are very interesting things yet to talk about. However, we probably should be somewhat limiting. Let me run through another circle of a question that I would like to again ask everybody to speak about, and that's about growing business. That's about developing business. And about the, as I was saying, it's essential for us as the ones offering this program that the participants in the program, regardless of their current stage of the business, they have vision to develop. Now, with this, I know that, for example, with Elza's program, Elza's business, that's you have an amazing story, Elza. Please tell us a little bit about it, how you've developed it, how you started. We heard about that, and then you developed it, and you now have branches of your business. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, and also link it with perhaps even bigger, sort of being part of the global economic development. How you see, do you see yourself as part of the bigger pattern, not just developing your own business, but also overall, the international arena?
Thank you for the amazing question. Let me to start from the second question. To be honest, I'm glad to be part of this discussion, this conversation with all these women. Once again, thank you for the opportunity. It's important to acknowledge that sometimes when we compare or we discuss our ideas, we think that it seems like we are very small businesses and what we did is very small, but it's crucial to recognize what we are part of our economy, Armenian economy, and it's also the part of the global economic landscape. So each of us must think about it, and I will call us change makers, because we just don't sit and wait for something. We create something for us. We solve the problems which we saw in our communities. About the second part, we started our journey in 2020 with COVID-19, and we hope that that was the only strength in our business. But after that started the war, and it changed this world for us, for everyone. I think that the life before and after the war is not the same for all of us. But it didn't broke us, and in 2022, and on January, we opened our branch in Cabayan, and maybe you will ask why in Cabayan, because it's a strategic place in Armenia, and Gyumri, Cabayan, they are strategic cities in Armenia. And the third one, which we planned in 2022 at the end of, it was Stepanakert. And we started to work. We found a place, we called workers, do interviews and so on. And we planned to open in March 2023. But in December, we see that the road of life was closed, and open the branch in Stepanakert. It was just call for us, the second step, the first step of our business, but now it became dream for us. But I think that all the dreams one day will come true, and I really hope that all problems will be solved, and we will open our third branch in Stepanakert, and it will be very difficult, like for us that to think about it now, but I think that everything will be gonna be all right, and we will open our doors in Stepanakert as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to Lusine. This is about the developing business and what is next.
Actually, the best is yet to come, definitely. As we are starting from our level in Gyumri, it's really very important to get more professionalized staff in Gyumri. Then, of course, we would expand, definitely. I would not dare to just like concretize the locations, but hopefully like to transfer all this attitude towards the Armenia, because as we are speaking about increasing the touristic flows and being a very pleasant touristic destination, not just particularly in Shirak region, but all over Armenia. So we should work hard, and definitely we will be expanded.
Okay, all right. Tea house, Anahit. How do you see development? Where are you going next? And how do you see yourself as part of the bigger world pattern?
So I'll start from the last part of the question, and then go to the first one. So the tea house positions itself as a place where you can drink tea from all over the world. Like I have rooibos from Africa, I have Chinese teas, like 50 options. I have Indian tea, I have mate from South America, and I also collect herbs from different parts of Armenia, and I do all the proceedings myself, and then serve it as well in the tea house. It is like having tea from different parts of the world and mixing it, blending it with Armenian tea makes the tea house a place where you can be in the center of many cultures. And besides that, I also give space to some performers, to Russian performers, to anyone who has anything to tell. And we have a theater club which was organized by a Russian director, and then it expanded so much that now we have Armenian players there. So this is for me being a part of the global thing, let's say, making Vayots Dzor a part of the global movement, let's say, global as well. And how I see the tea house in the future, I will definitely keep the place in Vayots Dzor and try to make it, try to see the blossoms of it in sometimes later maybe. But I also want to expand to other regions. For example, I really want to have a tea house in Paravakar or in other village in Tavush, because I really think that this will work. good for the local community there. So yeah, that's what I hope I can do one day.
Paravakar, for the audience, Paravakar is in Tavush in the border areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, wonderful. Nune, with your business, I mean, you have a closed upcycling enterprise. We spoke at length about the global connection with it, which doesn't come at first when you talk about it, but then as you Nune elaborate, that's fantastic where we see that connection. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Yes, so our business is automatically part of a big global movement connected with sustainable development and developing the idea of conscious consumption. That is, whenever people try to buy less and use more, use it longer. That is, we also want to develop this idea, and my future plans are, first of all, to promote this idea, to raise the awareness among people how important it is to give second chance to different things in our everyday household that we use, including, of course, clothes. And connected with business development, my future plans, maybe a little bit far future plans, are connected with providing a place to a lot of talented women living in Spitak and nearby villages who have very good skills connected with sewing and designing textile and clothes, and create some kind of, maybe at the beginning, small place, but later to enlarge it and give them some kind of place for work and giving also financial independence. But at the same time, do a lot of awareness raising seminars and interesting trainings for youth and for women in order to develop the idea first, and second, provide them some products. So in my opinion, in this case, our sales will increase and the culture will be developed better.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. This has been, I think, amazing, very interesting. And I hope it's been interesting for the audience as well. I see there's some questions and actually also some suggestions. There's some words of encouragement. Thank you very much for the warm words. I don't know if I should be reading them all or just going through them. Go through them. Okay, sure. There is Ani suggests she has a finance company and she would like to offer her services. Thank you very much. I've made a note of your phone number and we will connect with you. There is a question to Elza. Elza, I have noticed that driving, this is Huri Elezan asking, I've noticed that driving in Armenia is tense. I see too many deadly accidents in the news. Yes, unfortunately. Do you address these issues at your school? What do you think the causes are? Road safety measures, drivers not respecting the rules, speed, drunk driving?
Thank you for the question. Yes, unfortunately, the number of the death accidents are very high, and comparing with the number of our population, it's higher than we can expect. And this all points which you mentioned above, yes, all we can all take as the reason. But I would like to say that the first one is about the not develop roads and not lighten up roads, because it's dark when you drive and you haven't ability to see anything. That's why sometimes drivers go to that deadly accidents. As a driving school, we took very responsive behavior, and I every time said that we need to sit and think about how to decrease that deadly accidents. But I want to point that as a driving school, we teach them how to drive, the theoretical part and the driving part, the other part. But that accidents, I want to say that it's not because we don't know the laws or we don't know how to drive. All the drivers knows about it. And there is also the second part of this deadly accident, that sometimes, not in these days, but the previous, let me call previous Armenia, yes, before the revolution, many drivers get their driving license without giving an examination. We get it as a gift, maybe. Sometimes around the table we get it as a gift, and that's why now I can say that the big part of that accidents is just because of the not good drivers, and also not good roads in Armenia.
Yep. Okay, thank you. There's a question to Nune. Nune, very good idea what you're doing, and making local women work and at the same time be more independent. That's network. Do you do networking with other places, with other similar places?
Thank you. So, as I have mentioned before getting the question, I have this future vision connected with creating a very safe space for women where they can be, they can feel themselves kind of independent, free, and change their attitude towards different things. And of course, get some kind of financial independence. This is a big vision that I have. And keeping the network, unfortunately, in Armenia, we don't have many businesses connected with clothes upcycling, but there are some small businesses, and I know them. Right now, we don't have, to be honest, we don't have strong network, because actually, maybe it's kind of our also mistake or our fault that we don't promote each other's products, or I don't know, we don't keep good network. But I think it's a good idea to know about each other, to learn from each other, and understand how we can cooperate with each other, and why not contribute to each other's development. So thank you for the answer, and also for good idea.
Nune, my question was about embroidery. Embroidery, records. If you can mix it with the.
Understand. We had some kind of cooperation with a woman who was painting actually on textile, and we had some cooperation for some period. Right now, it is not so strong, but whenever we have some orders, we cooperate. But yes, it can be included, and it can be in our future plans. So right now we don't have this component, but in the future we will take into account. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There is a question to Anahit. I think Anahit, you partly answered that. Perhaps the question was before you were telling us, but nevertheless, let me read it. So, very good idea. I thought Armenians liked tea, especially herbal teas. What are the kinds that you serve? Do you also serve coffee? We talked about it, right?
So I answered the first part, that I serve herbal tea as well, and I harvest, I pick the tea myself and do everything by myself and then serve it. And about coffee, this is one of the things I'm proud of, because at first I didn't like the idea of having coffee in the tea house. But the community of Rhapsody really asked that there should be coffee, asked there to be coffee. So I said, okay, and I brought it as a feedback from them.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that you first was adamant about only serving tea. This is my business. But then as the market, as the need was there, you decided to be more flexible with that. Okay. And there's also a question to Lusine. Again, a great idea, Lusine. Can't you extend the school all over Armenia?
Yeah. Just during all this panel discussion, I'm looking through all of this idea because I think we need just time to be more stabilized in Gyumri, just financially, and the business needs. Then, according to all the finances that we get from the trainings, definitely will expand. We're going to share all our experiences to the different regions of Armenia, not just only the city centers, because as we are speaking about the sustainable tourism development, we are more keen on that the all specific locations should be presented and introduced by the local guides. And also the local hostesses, local waiters should be also integrated there. I promise that we will expand. I cannot just mention the right date or the right time, but we will expand definitely.
Isn't this wonderful to hear? There is a wonderful question here from Karina Halajan. Thank you, Arpa Institute and Anoush, Nune, Elza, Anahit, and Lusine for fantastic panel and event. Will the recording be distributed and available to rewatch the panel? I understand, yes, it will be. Also, ladies, do your businesses have social media sites and or websites? If so, can you please share with us? I'd love to share with Birthright Armenia alumni and my community in Los Angeles. Question to you all?
Yeah, we have already shared.
Okay. Oh,
and also just a
so
small
okay,
information.
Sure.
Yeah, connected with the Birthright Armenia, especially in Yerevan, in Vayots, and also the different cities of Armenia. We have a very nice volunteers from Birthright Armenia, and right now we have the one in our Create On Academy that working with him our hospitality models. So we have very close connections, and we are very lucky that you know about Birthright, and you will share also with them.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I do look forward to sharing all of your resources that you shared with us today. So thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, thank you. Your words are very, very inspiring and very encouraging. Thank you very much. And I want to say also thank you to Ruben and Jikyan. Armenian women are key for country's development and survival. Well done. Thank you very much. Perhaps on this note, I would like to ask also all our panelists to offer any closing remarks, if you have anything to say. And I will let the order be your own choice. Nune?
I can start.
Sure. Yes, Lusine.
We are really very thankful and for the opportunity for this nice event. We will do our best for Armenia, and remember that we are always waiting for you in Armenia with our cities. I don't know, in Gyumri, in Vayots, in Yedigaryan, and wherever in all locations on Armenia. You are always welcomed here, and keep in mind that we are always doing everything in Armenia and Armenia.
Okay, great. Thank you. Nune?
Yes, I also want to thank you for this great opportunity. And so I would like to recommend everyone and advise that if there is wish, there is way. So if you really like the idea, that you are devoted to your idea, so keep on going and try to take some obstacles and make it chances for you. And it's very often not to leave your small towns and try to go to bigger cities, because small towns really need change makers. And we, as if it's possible, we should stay and do that. So thank you.
Okay, great. Anahit.
Armenia seems really small, but it's so interesting when you start exploring. So when just visit all the Marzes, visit as many places as you can, so that nobody ever says that some city or village is a dying place, don't do anything there, but vice versa, everybody just encourages to do something in rural places.
Okay. Elza?
Thank you for this nice opportunity. I'd like to say that it's not very easy times, and I also will mention that it's hard time for Armenia, but we need to work more, like twice first in this situation, and our aspirations are focused on seeing Armenia become more developed and more vibrant, and to feel the support of the diaspora as well. I hope to meet everyone in Armenia or somewhere in the globe. And I know that we all love Armenia so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to maybe also, I have just a couple of words at the end. I would like to thank the panelists for this very interesting conversation today at this hour in Armenia. I also want to say thank you for your very inspired, really, and very interesting way of you running your businesses. And I wish you all success. My very special thank you goes to Dr. Cabayan once again. Dr. Cabayan, your support of this program is very, very important. And I hope that you, when you are in Armenia, you will meet more students of the program and be inspired by the changes that will be evident as more students join the program throughout Armenia. As I mentioned in the beginning of the conversation, the program, the first cohort started from the northern parts of Armenia, but next cohorts will be involving students from south, from Artsakh, and from hopefully from also middle parts of that middle part of Armenia that is closer to Yerevan, but still is in need of developing businesses and women's business skills in the rural parts. With this, I would like to conclude our conversation. Once again, thank you to ARPA Institute for featuring us today and for having this opportunity for us to share what we had to share with the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anoush, for an excellent moderation. And thank you all, Lusine, Anahit, Nune, and Elza, for a great set of presentations. This is one of the best panel discussions that we've had. And it is really exciting to see that these young women are so enthusiastic and really trying to create change in Armenia, which is very important. The change of mentality, the change of attitude, the change of thinking, essentially. So I think this is very important. You should also try to influence the boys, the men, because I think men need more change in attitude and mentality than women. I know that women in Armenia are really good anyway. They do a lot of work and they're great. But the men, most of them, to me, they need a lot of help. They lack the mentality, they lack the attitude, and they are very, very passive in my mind. So thank you very much. We, of course, will have another panel discussion next month. Hopefully, we will announce the date and time soon. We would like to ask all of you to please donate to ARPA if you can, so we can achieve what we are planning in Armenia, and we will be very happy to receive your donations. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day and bari gişer. Bye-bye.
Bye.